Hamilton Stadium, where 5 legends of the game and 2 predominant builders will be celebrated and enshrined forever in Canadian football history. But not only do we get to honor the newest class of inductees, but we also wrap up Week 16 with an East versus West clash. It is the Hamilton Tiger Cats taking the field, taking on the Edmonton Elks as they continue their Eastern tour. Hi everyone, and welcome inside Hamilton Stadium. An absolute perfect night for CFL football as we wrap up week number 16. It is Kate Burness, it is Enoch Mwamba, it is Dave Naylor, and it is Milt Spiegel as we get set for this one tonight. So many good storylines going into this game too. The Elks picking up a little momentum, the Tiger Cats the top of the East. Enoch, what are you looking for in this one?
Kate, for me the storyline is Justin Rankin. This is a guy that gets everything going for this Edmonton Elks team, and you see the last few weeks when a couple weeks ago, 200 yards. Last week he's a little bit quiet, and when he's quiet, this team doesn't do as well. If he's able to be explosive tonight, this team can have such success, Dave.
I think one of the real challenges for Edmonton is going to be slowing down Bo Levi Mitchell in this passing game. We know that he can air it out. We know he's having a great year. We know what happened the last time he faced him. But you know what? Edmonton's defense is playing a lot better. If they can get some pressure on Bo Levi Mitchell, I don't think they're going to take him out in this game in terms of passing yards, but can they create a turnover or two? Bo had a clean game last week, but he had interceptions each of the previous 2. I think turnovers with Bo Levi Mitchell could be a big factor tonight.
Well, they may be able to stop Bo Levi Mitchell, but what happens with Greg Bell? So in my opinion, they got to make him one-dimensional. You can't let Greg Bell get going, who's rushed for almost 300 yards in the last 2 games. Remember some weeks ago, everybody was talking about when is Hamilton going to get a running game. Well, they have a running game now, so the Elks can't allow that running game to get going because that will open it up wide open for Bo Levi Mitchell.
Interesting, too. We had Joel DeBlanco on earlier today, and he said, we've been great at stopping that run. They're going to need him tonight. Let's get you down to the field. It's the national anthem.
We're proud to present this evening's honor guards from the Hamilton Paramedics. Please welcome Tina Brogard, Lindsay Luna, and James Masterton. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you are able to and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem, performed by Kalia Stapleton.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see the rise, our true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
A fantastic crowd once again in Hamilton tonight, ready for this Hall of Fame game to kick off. Rod Smith and Glenn Suter with the call next. Edmonton, Alberta, this is your chance to win big thanks to Save on Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. If a kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Carmelo. Let's send it to the guys calling it. It's Rod Smith and Glenn Suter.
Thank you, Kate. Welcome to the House of the Ticats. Not only that, it's the home for some of the greatest contributions ever made in the history of Canadian football. It is the Hall of Fame game tonight between the Elks and the Tiger Cats. Special building for many, Glenn Suter. It certainly is for Cody Fajardo. This is his first game back in this building since that memorable Grey Cup victory for Montreal in 23.
Yeah, great memories here. And there's one aspect of his game that I'm not sure he can improve upon, and that's his completion percentage. He's hitting on 77% this year, and last week went 22 straight. without an incompletion. Cody Fajardo is on his game. So is Bo Levi Mitchell, a future Hall of Famer who's on pace for 5,400 yards this year. 8 times during the season, he has thrown for over 300 yards.
Scott Milanovich's Ticats have won 2 straight to stay on top of the East Division at 8-5. One of their 8 wins came in Edmonton back in Week 9. As for Mark Killam, the Elks were close to winning their 5th in 6 games last week in Toronto, only to see the Argos break their hearts with that walk-off field goal to take it. Critical week for Edmonton at 5-8, especially with BC and Winnipeg winning this week. Win could be a factor tonight. Be going from left to right in your TV screen. The Ticats won the toss. They want the ball. That is Vincent Blanchard in his 2nd year as Edmonton's kicker, getting set to put it down at the 30 to get this one underway. Last game of Week 16. And another doubleheader Saturday here on the CFL on TSN. It's the Hall of Fame game. And about to get underway with Isaiah Wood, the league's top returner, back in after missing 6 weeks with injury. Opening kickoff underway here at Hamilton Stadium. Wooden has it. Across the 15, the 20. Takes contact from his own man, Ty Anderson, before he gets to about the 22-yard return. On comes Bo Levi Mitchell, 2nd in the CFL, coming in passing yards.
Yes, he is, and 17-4 against Edmonton in his career. He's on pace, as I mentioned, for over almost 5,400 yards, and leads the league in touchdown passes with 26. Both these quarterbacks been very good at protecting the football as well. Keep those interception totals low.
Earlier in the season, defined by explosive big plays, but since then, the last couple of weeks, it's more of this. Greg Bell on the ground. You heard our panelists talking about how good Bell has been in those rushing yards in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I didn't highlight one of them because when they're at their best, the offensive line is playing together, and Greg Bell's had 2 of his best games of the season. That means that offensive line is gelling in a big way, and there's Bell, a key to bringing balance to this offense for Scott Milanovic. Almost 300 yards in the last 2 games rushing for Bell.
156 in Montreal 2 weeks ago, and last week against Winnipeg, another 137. He had touchdowns on the ground and in the air. In the air now in a 2nd and 4 off to the left, short pass to Greg Bell. Yes, dangerous as a receiver as well. That'll move the sticks. A first down for the Ticats.
Well, that'll be the task for this Edmonton defense. When you look at Noah Taylor up front, who I think is really coming on. 4 sacks, leads his team in the current lineup. But the challenge in that front 7 and Joel DeBlanco is to stop Greg Bell, get them into 2nd and long, and then that's when Cordell Jackson in the secondary can try and make some plays in the back end.
Opening possession. Hall of Fame game up to the Hamilton 34 for Mitchell. Faking to Bell, throwing it off to Brendan O'Leary-Orange, and a good carry after the catch up near another Ticats first down.
Got to think that both teams playing in front of these Hall of Famers, and we're going to talk to them all night long. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. But you got to believe that for both of these teams, just a little more juice in this game with those guys watching on.
No question. O'Leary-Orange had 1 catch for 10 yards last week. He just had 1 catch for 10 yards. We're early on now as the Ticats move up to the 45 now. The handoff back to Bell. Cuts it back off. He has something going. And this is the kind of thing we saw last week against the Bombers and the week before against the Owls in Montreal.
Brandon Raffenberg, Brendan Bordner. Big blocks on the left side of that offensive line. And Greg Bell not really touched till he gets into the secondary. Cordell Jackson, by the way, leads the team in tackles, but played a lot of the nickel position before moving back to safety.
We had early movement. The Elks up front, Jared Brinkman was
offside. Edmonton, number 91. It's a 5-yard penalty. Will replay first down.
The first to move, as announced by the referee for tonight's game, Ben Major. So a couple of first downs and then a 1st and 5 coming up on that offside penalty. Already in the Elk zone inside the Edmonton 50.
A laudable on the line of scrimmage for Bo Levi Mitchell.
Changes up the call. And back to Bell. Cuts it back left. Picks up another few yards. with Brandon Barlow, ex-Ticat, there last year in on the tackle.
Yeah, that was a good redirection by Barlow to corral Greg Bell. And you take a look at his first 8 games compared to the last 2. So Scott Milenovich and the play calling and Greg Bell and the offensive line up front are together, and it's been working, and it's coming up on the right time of year for your run game to get going.
Yeah, a little chill in the air, isn't it? 16 degrees tonight. And fall definitely on its way here in Southern Ontario. 2nd and 1. Back to Bell. First down, Joel DeBlanco getting the start at weak side linebacker. The injury to Nick Anderson and takes him down.
Well, Brock Morgensen and Joe DeBlanco are going to have to just key into Greg Bell early, which could open up some crossing area in behind in the passing game for Bo Levi Mitchell. I mean, we'll see how this chess match continues here, but those linebackers have to sneak up to the line of scrimmage. That means there's area behind them.
First down from the Edmonton 41. Opening possession, Ticats. Bell tries to slip through the tackle there of Brock Mogensen, but is tripped up and ends up picking up about 4 yards. 2nd down and 6 coming up.
So you mentioned his 2 games. Montreal 156, Winnipeg 137, and the long in those 2 was 28 yards. So this is like chunks of yardage. You know, good first down runs, 7, 8, 9. You know, that's the type of run game you want to mix in with your passing game. You go play action, and everybody sucks towards the line of scrimmage.
Where we know the Ticats have a big play passing game. Already 4 minutes on this drive, and there's the pass for Tim White coming in as Kobe Williams, just to mess things up right around the 25 as it falls incomplete.
Yeah, really good timing for Williams, because it looked like this was going to be a completion. There's Tim White on that bender route right in behind the linebackers. Nice break by Kobe Williams.
So they were racking up the first downs, but suddenly now the drive stalls right at the 37. So Mark Leggio coming on. Highest field goal percentage in the CFL. 4 for 4 last week. Longest to 43. This one will be put down by Nick Constantino just inside the Edmonton 45. Keep in mind the wind. It's going against Leggio here. Z drives it. And it's good. That's a 45-yarder that probably felt a lot more like a 55-yarder. It's points on the board for the Ticats in their opening possession. Cody Fajardo back in a very special place where he won a Grey Cup a couple of years ago. Last week in Toronto, Cody Fajardo was 25 for 28, including 22 straight, tying his old head coach Jason Moss just one shy of Jeremiah Masoli.
Yeah, we put him in second place. That was our editorial decision, and I'm sure he's happy to be there passing his former coach. The last time he was here, as you mentioned, Jason Moss and the Montreal Alouettes winning a championship. He made that great throw to Tyson Philpott, but 22 in a row, it's tough to do that against air.
77% completion rate, and that'll help. The nice catch going up. Arkell Smith has it for a pickup of about 5 yards.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how he could even improve upon his completion percentage at 77. I mean, and again, touchdown to interception ratio, when you look at the number of attempts for Cody Fajardo as a starter, it's almost 250 attempts and just 3 interceptions this year.
So a 2nd and 5 after that throw to Arkell Smith. He has time, and he gets rid of it and completes it too. Another completion, and that's up across the 50, and that is Odu Hilaire, one of the newer receivers for the Edmonton lineup for the first down.
Yeah, Hilaire and Victor on the other side are finding their way. They're figuring it out. They realize that it's a zone look. Don't have to move. Just wait till Cody's ready to throw it. And Hilaire comes up with the catch.
Hilaire in his 4th game with the Elks. Started in the Labor Day Classic. First down. You play fake. Buy some time, but not for long. The ball comes out. Julian Hauser forced it out. Now the Elks have it back. Hauser was bearing down in Fajardo. It's Keon Julian Grant who ends up alertly getting that recovery, but Hauser's been a nightmare for quarterbacks this season. You could see what was coming. Fajardo couldn't get rid of the ball in time.
Yeah, backside. So Fajardo with the play action is looking to the short side of the field, and the block initially wasn't terrible out there on that right side, but Hauser just keeps at it, and when the coverage locks down the receivers and Fajardo can't find a guy, Hauser gets home.
Instead of a turnover, it's a loss of 13. So a second and long. Fajardo just sets up a screen to Justin Rankin. Oh, Rankin could be gone. He is gone. Touchdown Edmonton on one big play, 72 yards, and we've seen that before from number 5.
That was another gear. You can't coach speed. And it looked like the Ticats, as they closed, had all the angles for a tackle well short of the first down. But that extra gear from Rankin, and he was gone, outrunning the angles.
It's interesting with him because he had over 200 yards rushing 2 weeks ago. Last week he only had 27 rushing and 2 catches for 8 yards, and already outdoing that big time at a 72-yard reception for a touchdown for Justin Rankin. A receiver by trade, working out of the backfield, taking it all the way in to give the Elks the early lead.
Fourth receiving touchdown for Rankin, and a well-blocked up screen with the newcomer Carter O'Donnell getting out, and Arkell Smith with key blocks. Here they are right there. Excellent block here with Smith. That's the newcomer, the rookie Carter O'Donnell. And how about the second gear to outrun 4 defenders to the end zone? I mean, they all had angles when he first caught the ball, and he took it to the house.
Some teammates were nicknaming him Rank the Tank because he could run with power. The thing he didn't like about that was it didn't really address the speed. And he certainly has that. Quite a burst for Justin Rankin and that touchdown. So on the return, Isaiah Wooden, first game back in 6 weeks, and gets that across the 20. Rank can be a tank at times, but he can be a speedboat as well.
See ya.
He's gone. Elks on top. This is how the Ticats started last week's game against Winnipeg. Chris Streveler's first pass intercepted by Jamal Peters. Takes it down to the 7. One play later, they're in the end zone. Mitchell to Bell. Late first half, Streveler picked off again. Deshaun Amos has it. Just seconds away from halftime, and they get the payoff with another touchdown. Suits, points off turnovers. None better in the league than Hamilton.
Yeah, 98 of them. And, you know, that's the 2 parts of the turnover battle. You win the giveaway takeaway. That's step 1. And then your team grabs momentum when you score points off of those interceptions. Well, the other team that just threw the pick is on a low.
Last possession, Ticats went down for a field goal, but they trail now after the Edmonton touchdown to Zandy Litre. Jalen Williams in his debut in the CFL for Edmonton in the secondary. There's the juggling with the injury to Royce Metier, who's the one in on the tackle.
You know, when Bo's on, it looks like the ball comes out of his hands with the flick of a wrist. It really does. He's calling a lot of these plays at the line of scrimmage. I mean, the front runner right now out of the East in the MOP race. There are others, so I don't need emails or anything.
26 touchdown passes, only 7 picked off. Completes that one to Keandre Smith. And he eludes a tackle for a moment. Once again, Williams in there on him, but that's enough for a Hamilton first down.
What a big step for Keandre Smith this season. I mean, on pace, he should get to 1,000 yards if he keeps it up. Close to 800 so far this year. Some big games. 150 pluses.
Definitely on pace for his best, most productive season, Keandre Smith. In his 4th year at the University of Guelph. Here's Mitchell again with time. Off to the left, and that one flag comes out. It's intended for Kenny Lawler, their leading receiver, and landed quite a bit further ahead of him. You see Lawler limping now.
Yeah, it looked like he came out of his break, and that's where the flag was thrown, right at him. A little inside move. Well, there's the grab down the field. That's about when the flag came out.
Defensive pass interference. Edmonton, number 29. It's going to be first down for Hamilton at the spot of the foul.
J.J. Ross making the contact there on Kenny Lawler. And
now Lawler already over 1,000 yards, almost 1,200 already. He and Keon Hatcher going back and forth in that race. The receiving title. So J.J. Ross a little jumpy.
Yeah.
Grabbing him on that outcut.
Lawler has a tendency to make a lot of defensive backs and corners jumpy.
I guess. He's just kind of favoring that knee now. Hopefully he can walk that off. But
his touchdowns have certainly cooled off from the first 6 games where he had a bunch. And then he did have 2 Labor Day against the Argos. But you look at the pace now yardage-wise. And 3 Ticats on pace to go over 1,000, as you mentioned. Lawler's already there.
Yeah, it's going to be first down for Hamilton at midfield.
Yeah, 1,100, over 1,100 already for Kenny Lawler. So his pace is for almost 1,600. 3 receivers, and that's what I mean when your quarterback is as hot as Bo Levi Mitchell has been. Now you add in a run game. It's a dangerous offense.
It's become a lot more dangerous, that running game, in the last couple of weeks. So an 18-yard pickup. You count the penalty, too, up to midfield. Ticats, first down. Bell, elusive once. And Mogensen, the starting middle linebacker, make sure he goes no further. DeBlanco in there. They had to make changes with all the injuries the Elks did, with, of course, having Niles Morgan and Nick Anderson, last year's Rookie of the Year, injured and out. It's Mogensen in the middle and DeBlanco getting a shot.
Yeah, DeBlanco's playing beside him. And then you go up to their defensive line, and Mark Killam's group doesn't have Jake Ceresna. They don't have Robbie Smith. Royce Metier in the back end. He's on the 6th game. That's why they had to move Cordell Jackson back to safety.
13 on the 6th game for Edmonton. Here's Mitchell with time. Deep ball. That is caught. Getting down inside the 20. Keandre Smith. Biggest play for the Hamilton offense. And they're into the red zone now.
Yeah, layers there for Bo Levi Mitchell. I mean, he's got a couple of options, and Keandre Smith is going to clear the linebackers, and then he's just in front of the deep players and knows that the hit is coming. But great concentration, has to go to that back shoulder. Body control up in the air for that catch.
So inside the 20, down to the 17, deep as the Ticats have gone. Mitchell checks it down to Bell inside the 15 and just heads out around the 12. Gain of about 5 yards for number 5, Greg Bell.
Substitution coming in, Brendan O'Leary Orange. Next receiver.
In for Ante Litre, the fullback. So 2nd and 5. The 8 and 5 Ticats still ahead of Montreal. The Alouettes winning last night in Toronto to put some heat on them. Mitchell to the right. He's got O'Leary Orange for the touchdown. Brendan O'Leary Orange. 2nd touchdown of the season. Not used as often with the star-studded receiving core the Ticats have, but very effective there.
A nice little bang route where he takes his defender and makes him look like he's going to run a crosser. I'm going to go over the middle. That's what he's trying to tell Tyrell Ford. Going to run that crossing route, and then he puts the brakes on. Ford goes by him, back to the out, and Bo Levi Mitchell hit him in stride.
Brendan O'Leary Orange, whose one other touchdown came in the big comeback at BC Place for the Ticats back in July. And that one puts Hamilton back in front. First possession, down for 3. Elks went ahead. Back comes Hamilton. Mitchell, O'Leary Orange, the touchdown. One of the 7 newest members of the Canadian Football Hall of Fame inducted last night, Scott Flagel. The great defensive back safety he was, 10 seasons with Winnipeg Cavalry, played here in Hamilton in the old Ottawa Rough Riders too. 1987 CFL Most Outstanding Canadian, and he is standing by now with Matthew Shanetti.
Yeah, an 84 Grey Cup champion. It's funny, Rod, we were just talking about that, and Scott was talking about the block punt that wasn't at the 84 Grey Cup. Congratulations for being inducted.
Thank you, Matthew.
So many accomplishments, and it's a cliche, I know, that I ask every inductee every year, but when you, in a city that you also played in as well, where do your thoughts go to immediately?
I mean, first off, like I said, a guy like Mike Riley, Ray Yawk, Paul Robson, the guys that really helped me get here. But I do have to mention Bob Irving, because I forgot to mention him in my speech. He was very impassioned about me getting in and was a big part of it too. But you think about your family, and you always reminisce about the good times, that you miss with the players, and all that stuff is what I think most.
Coincidentally, Glenn Suter's up there, so he knows what it's like to be a Canadian to start in the secondary.
Yeah.
But what did it mean to you to be a Winnipeg boy, to help the Bombers win a Grey Cup in '84 after not winning it for a couple decades, and then to win a Most Outstanding Canadian in 1987?
I wish at the time I would have known how much it meant. I know how much it means now, but because of my lack of football experience and knowledge, I just thought it was normal. I thought we'd go to the Grey Cup every year. So after you don't and you finish, you go, wow, that was really a big deal. And to be from Winnipeg, a lot of guys didn't want to hang out with me because they said it was too well known in Winnipeg.
Being on the sidelines this close, you get the itch?
Well, there's always an itch, but I don't want to scratch it.
Appreciate this, Scott. Congratulations.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Matthew, and congratulations to Scott Flagel, Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah.
Edmonton football, up around the 40.
Well, Scott Flagel, I played at the same time. I was watching Scott. I was watching film on Scott all the time because he had a nose for the football like I had never seen. You saw those fumble recoveries, the interceptions, but Scott Flagel seemed to be around the ball. If someone coughed up the ball, Flagel was scooping it, and he was taking it to the house. I mean, the guy made plays. He was around the football. The nose for the ball, I think, was invented by Scott Flagel. Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. Talked about that 84 team. They had a dominant defense, Winnipeg, back then.
Nice throw.
There's the completion. The Curly Gittins Jr. with his first catch and a big first down. Edmonton back on the move.
Well, Enoch wants Curly Gittins to get going here. Get Curly Gittins going. Enoch's wish coming true.
Gets it to him that time for a gain of 23 and a first down in the Ticat zone. Back to Justin Rankin with the biggest play of this game so far. On a screen pass, took it 72 yards for a touchdown. Let's have a look at that Edmonton Elks offense tonight.
Yeah, take a look up front. That's the newcomer, Carter O'Donnell, out of the University of Alberta. Rookie at 6'5", 315. Already made a key block on the Rankin touchdown. There is Rankin, who's been a bit of Jekyll and Hyde, to be honest. I mean, you look back the last 8 games or so, he either has like 200 or 20. It just seems like it's one or the other. He's off to a good start tonight.
At the 200 2 weeks ago, and he was in the 20s last week. But a big one tonight, and that's Benjamin Victor with his first catch. So Fajardo using his receivers, mixing things up, and a tackle there by Devin Verisek.
Well, Julian Hauser's already on the board for a sack, although the screenplay for a touchdown was the very next play. But he adds to his work this year. I think Stubblefield has come on in a big way.
Fajardo, a little pump fake, and decides to take off. He only gets it down to the 30 on that first down play. Fajardo, never afraid to run, picks up 3 yards, 2nd and 7 ahead.
Katsatonis, I think, is the quarterback of that secondary for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and a guy who's played safety all season. Unlike Cordell Jackson at safety, just having talked to Scott Flagel, a former safety, Katsatonis leads the team in tackles. I'm not sure that's a good thing, but again, a guy who has a nose for the football.
This should be the last play of the first quarter of the Hall of Fame game. Edmonton on the move. Fajardo in a second down. He has sacked Casey Sales like a gold and black brick wall. Wraps up Fajardo and takes him down. So third down coming up. And it'll be a field goal situation ahead for the Edmonton Elks. Trailing in this one by 3. Interesting plays in this one. Rankin with a big touchdown run on the screen, and then Brendan O'Leary-Orange with Hamilton's touchdown. Through one quarter of the Hall of Fame game here in Hamilton, the Ticats up 3, although the Edmonton Elks are pressing to tie that. Interesting. A couple of big plays by these offenses.
Yeah, well, I've liked what I've seen again from Bo Levi Mitchell. He looks like he's on top of his game. Cody Fajardo with that accuracy is there. The big play to Rankin. Clearly, these two tailbacks are going to be key for both of these teams. Bell for Hamilton, and, of course, Justin Rankin and that big screen play.
You talked about it's interesting with, well, Fajardo just threw that short screen to Rankin, but how it's feast or famine with him. One of the top running backs in the CFL. When he is on, though, it's dynamite. And a big play when he got into the open and that screen to take it 72 yards for the touchdown. So where we left off at the end of the first quarter, Fajardo was sacked by Casey Sales. Sets up a third down now. They scrimmage from the 35 and a field goal try coming up here for Blanchard. And that is just around the 42. He was 3 for 3 last week.
Whoa.
And dealing with the wind up against it. You can see how that ball is moving. In a building, you talk about what this facility is known for, not just the Hall of Fame, but lots of wind and trying to figure that one out. Canada's top home cooks are ready to battle it out in the kitchen. A new season of MasterChef Canada. That is Thursday, October 2nd on CTV. Stream next day on Crave. Yeah, the upright flags. I mean, we've seen it before. I think one of the Grey Cups in recent years, too. It was very, very windy in the days leading up and even the day itself. So it can be a nightmare for kickers trying to figure it out. Blanchard does. Vincent Blanchard with the field goal that ties this one up at 10. Hamilton football starting at their 40. Mitchell has time, takes a deep shot. He wants wide, nearly intercepted. Double coverage. Jalen Williams was in there playing in his first CFL game and nearly had himself his first CFL pick.
Yeah, at Indiana, Jalen Williams, undrafted, went to Minnesota, spent some time in the preseason, had an interception, as a matter of fact, against the Seattle Seahawks when he was with the Vikings. 152 tackles in his time at Indiana, had almost his first CFL interception.
Ticats going with the breeze here in the second quarter, too, as it gets gusting. Late blitz coming in to Blanco on that delayed blitz. DeBlanco in his second year, top pick in the CFL draft in 24, picks himself up the sack for the Edmonton Elks.
Just a bit of a delay, delay from DeBlanco as he can pick his hole on the blitz. So when you're off the line of scrimmage as a linebacker like that, you can take that extra second and then find where the lane's going to be and then get right back there at the quarterback. Just an excellent play for DeBlanco and timing.
Might be onto something here. Can we call it the DeBlay blitz? There you go. It pays off. Nick Constantino to punt it away. So second sack for DeBlanco this season. And on the return is Javon Leake after a 59-yard punt. Leake turns the corner. Here we go. 45-50. Braxton Hill trying to push him out. He finally does. But an excellent return for Javon Leake in this 10-10 tie when we come back. We're going to have one of the 7 new Hall of Famers join us in the booth. Stick around. One of the new members, the class of 25 in the Hall of Fame, Jermaine Copeland, 11 years. Remember him with the Alouettes, Calgary, Toronto as well. Look at all the yardage and those catches. And what I also remember are the celebrations too, Suits. We were going to talk about that a little bit. But first of all, congratulations, Jermaine. What does it mean to you to be a Hall of Famer?
Oh, it means a lot, man. I mean, the whole organization, the fan base, everyone embraced me whenever I came up here. You know, that's what I tell everybody. In 2002, when we won the Grey Cup, coming out in front of 250,000 screaming fans down there, I knew it was the place for me. So I knew I wasn't going anywhere else, and I knew the CFL would be my home. So it's a blessing, and I'm truly appreciative of it.
How about catching passes from Anthony Calvillo? One of the greats. I mean, some of the guys, coaches and players you worked with. Who comes to mind when you get this on?
I love the AC, the Don Matthews, who started us off. I said AC catching balls from him was always a great thing because without question, he's one of the best quarterbacks to play in this league. He was smart, always did what he needed to do to take care of business, and he would give you an opportunity to make a play. And that's what I loved about AC, man, is he knew that if I was covered, a lot of times he would give me a chance. Classic.
Oh, yeah. I think of you with all those celebrations. By the way, Julian Hauser, a little nightmare for Cody Fajardo on that sack. Gets him again for the second time in this game, so we have a 2nd and 16 for the Elks. And Fajardo in this 10-10 tie, second quarter. Throwing to the left and too far.
Jermaine, where were you when you got the news? Take us through that.
I was actually in Tennessee. I was at home. You know, I work as a finisher right now for a nuclear plant that does a lot of things there. So I was at home. My brother was the one who ended up getting in contact with me and telling me that he had a meeting that he needed to talk to me.
Okay.
I had no idea what he was talking about, but I ended up walking up, and Nick and the monster Huff, my big guy Huff, was on there, and Nick was the person who actually congratulated me, man, and we both broke down and started crying like little babies, which was crazy. It's like, man, because we were there together, you know, so it was awesome.
You have to hand in your man card just for a second.
Yeah, I did.
Just for a second.
The punt there by Jake Julian. We got Jermaine Copeland with us in the booth as Isaiah Wooden lets it roll out of bounds for the single.
But Jermaine, I got to ask you, because Rod and I were both talking about it before you came in here. The celebrations.
Yes.
The celebrations. Like, I know you go like 4 or 5 hours at practice. How many hours did you spend planning the celebrations?
I tell you the truth, most of the celebration practices came during the scout team.
Okay.
When the scout team was going against the defense, we'd be over there messing around while we're sitting on our helmets.
Well, you guys had the boat rowing thing.
Yeah.
What else would you?
Well, when he went to Calgary, the bobsled was my favorite.
Yeah, the bobsled, the bicycle. Yeah. I said, shoot, whenever you go back to Montreal, I said the bonus about that was we ran a full play and it in reverse. Like we held up the kicking team. It was classic. And they even had Ben Cahoon in it. And you know, Ben never celebrated. That's what you love about it.
Short carry there by Greg Bell. It's now a 1-point lead for Edmonton after that punt single by Jake Julian. But yes, Jermaine Copeland, I mean, some of the teams you work with, I mean, that 08 Stampeder team, you know, you had Henry Burris, and as you talked about before, Anthony Calvillo. You worked with some great quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did, and Hank was just as good as well. You know, he was a smart vet who slowly moved up. But AC, whenever I came in, really had the benefit of already being here, being a veteran who understood the game. So he pretty much was that guy, and Hank pretty much held it down as well whenever it comes down to it. Just like I said, we won 2002 and 2008, so it was good.
That's Tim White in the receiving end.
Just doing a little bit of his Jermaine Copeland.
Yeah, a little bit. I said, I don't know if they're as flashy as we were.
Well, take us through it. Take us through it. Do a little color analysis here.
Right here. Okay, that's a good little shake and bake. Yep. Nice little cut back. All right, that ain't too bad. It looks like he lost his footing a little bit. Yeah, looks like he lost his footing a little bit. That's okay, though. He made the play. That's all that matters.
So it's a first down, and that pass to Tim White, and just across midfield. Ticats now trailing by a point with the ball, and flags come out. I got to ask you about this. because you and Scott Milanovic.
Count violation, Hamilton number 19.
You never remember this before. This is the LA Extreme in the original XFL. Because I asked Scott, did you cross paths? And actually, no, but you did. You were teammates in the XFL before you both came to the CFL.
Yes, we were. Yes, we were. We were teammates. Scott was number 2 behind Tommy Maddox. And we had a lot of passes together, actually, in the XFL. Went on to win that championship of the only one that ended up being about. You know what I mean? Like, that was the beginning of the XFL, and we had a great time. Jim Barker was our offensive coordinator. Right. Exactly. You know what I mean? So he pretty much brought everybody this way.
Well, he went on to Montreal. That's DeAndre Smith, and the catch. Ball comes out. And Ticats. DeBlanco, you can see the ball down. Little fight for it.
See, these are simultaneous, and offense wins that, which I've never been fond of.
Don't like the offense winning the draw, huh?
Yeah, you know. And I guess when they start with it, they can. It definitely is out.
It's out.
But I think he was able to reel it back in.
Looks like he was holding on to it with his knees.
So that is still Hamilton football. And now a 2nd and 11. Or call it a 2nd and 12 now in that loss for Mitchell and the Ticats, approaching the midway point of the second quarter and joined in the booth. Pleased to be joined by Hall of Famer Jermaine Copeland.
How's that for big-time receiver play? That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. Yeah, come out and make a play.
Well, you've made a bunch of these in your time, Jermaine. When you see this, Bo Levi Mitchell giving you a chance, like you said, like AC used to do, like Henry Burris used to do. Give you a chance, and then go ahead and let that athleticism take over.
And that's exactly the way it's supposed to go. Give him an opportunity to make a play.
Another big catch for Tim White. Has him down inside the Edmonton 30 now. Is Hamilton. We've already had a couple of lead changes in this ball game, and approaching possibly another one here in the hands of Greg Bell. Back to work. Coming in is Cordell Jackson, getting the start at safety. He comes in and gets low on him and limits him to just about 4 yards. Got a maybe call it 3. 2nd down and long still ahead.
So your first experience in Canada, when you got up here, you saw the league and you saw the field and you saw the motion. As an offensive guy, you must win. I can stay here. I can do some things here.
Well, the truth was, you could motion in the XFL.
Yeah.
You had one person that could motion forward to the line of scrimmage.
Right.
I was that person.
Oh, okay. So you had a little jump.
I had a jump. Yeah.
Here's a deep shot into the end zone. No. Good coverage there. Tyrell Ford and Kenny Lawler. And they were neck and neck as the hand went up and knocked it down. And we got a 3rd down coming up and a chance for the Ticats to take the lead again.
But yes, I had the advantage of already getting to come down in motion before I even got up here. So when I kind of got up here, to tell you the truth, to see everybody coming at the line of scrimmage was definitely different.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. And being able to move it sideways on the ball.
Right.
That is, you got to be stationed down there. You cannot move. Yeah. So it was definitely an exciting change. But I tell you what, I love the speed of the game. I loved how it's always exciting. The last 3 minutes is the deadliest part of the game. You know, I like that. You don't have that down south. You can be down 21 and come back with 3 minutes left on the clock up here.
Well, sir, congratulations, man. It was great covering everything you did on the field.
Appreciate it.
Your Hall of Fame moment, Jermaine Copeland. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. All the best to you.
Looking sharp, too.
Thank you.
Very sharp.
Like always.
Week 17. Can you believe it? Coming up Friday Night Football with the Stampeders, the Alouettes. Battle of the Philpots. Reunited, and Wynton McManus and the Argos coming off that loss to the Alouettes. BC Lions and Nathan Rourke. A big win at McMahon Stadium in Calgary last night. All for you coming up Friday Night Football on TSN.
Another 300-yard game for Nathan Rourke. 52 points.
He was sharp right out of the gate last night, wasn't he?
Big time. Didn't look like he could be stopped. Him and Keon Hatcher. Almost 150, I believe, for Hatcher.
Cody Fajardo is 5 for 6. Handing off to Javon Leake, his first carry in this ball game. And coming in is Braxton Hill, the rookie out of the University of Montana, and he gets the start at weak side linebacker, and he has the tackle there.
Good movement here from Hill. He just is going to scrape. That's linebacker scraping to the ball carrier. Check the first gap, don't like it. Check the second gap, scrape out there. He's got a little bit of jump in his step.
Lost a yard. So second down and 12. Fajardo, and flags come down with the snap of the ball.
Yeah, I think it was Martez Ivy on that.
Procedure,
that left tackle.
Edmonton number 62. We'll go back 5 yards. We'll replay second down.
Well, last time they were in second and 10 plus, they threw a screen pass to Rankin.
And that worked out for a 72-yard touchdown. Their TD on the night. O'Leary Orange has the touchdown for Hamilton. Back and forth they have gone. Second and 17. And it's off to the right. And that's Arkell Smith, and takes a hit. Did he ever? He gets popped. And a flag comes out too late. Back in the Hamilton secondary, it is Smith knocked down around the 45, shy of a first down.
Evan Verichuk got banged up on that. That was a big hit on.
Major foul,
Arkell
unnecessary
Smith.
roughness. Hamilton number 30. We'll go up 15 yards from the end of the play. Automatic first down for Edmonton.
That's the safety, Stavros Katsantonis. It's announced by Ben Major on that roughness penalty. So a good break for the Elks as this will move it into the Hamilton zone at the 50 and a first down Edmonton.
Yeah, a little bit of friendly fire there on Verichuk.
(13-11). Ticats lead. 5.5 minutes to go until halftime. That screen to Leak. Still going. Sideline out of bounds, and another Edmonton first down.
Well, let's go back for Hamilton fans, show you the penalty on Katsantonis, and it was a late hit. He's right here and just pursuing to the football, but you can't come back towards your own line of scrimmage with a blind shot like that. And so that's the penalty. Here's the play to Javon Leak, getting both backs going.
Gain of 14 for Leak on his first reception. Also his one carry. And here he is again. In for Rankin. Leak getting some touches and gets it down to the 30. We'll have a second and short coming up.
Carter O'Donnell is trying to make his presence felt here early in this one. Playing right guard for the Edmonton Elks. Watch number 30. Katsantonis coming in on the hit on Leak, and Carter just cleaning that right up. Just get out of here. That's a good teammate right there.
Certainly is. Pressure coming. Fajardo gets rid of it. Nearly for Keon Julian Grant. And the coverage was there for Hamilton, but it was awfully close. Down near the goal line, Destin Talbot right there with Julian Grant to prevent a touchdown.
Well, because the blitz was coming on Cody Fajardo and he didn't have him blocked. He knew he didn't have it blocked up front, so he had to get rid of that on the post. So he throws it on one leg, and this time it's Julian Grant on the post route, but Talbot is there to knock it down.
Vincent Blanchard, 1 for 1 from 42. Whoa. And look at that wind blowing, and it went that way. A flag came out as well. This will be interesting as it sails out past the dead ball line. But you could see those upright flags, how they were moving, and the ball, of course, moving the same way on that kick by Blanchard.
Well, this is an interesting penalty because it was 3rd and 4. So even an offside, and I think it's more than that, but even an offside against Hamilton is a first down for the Elks. Sounds like it's going to be, yeah.
Fajardo goes back out on the field, so costly for the Ticats with a 2-point lead.
There's 2 penalties on the play. The first one is procedure, no end. Edmonton had no end on their left side. The second penalty is unnecessary roughness against a long snapper, Hamilton number 44. We're going to go up 10 yards, automatic first down.
Edmonton's long snapper is Luke Burton-Cron. A few years ago, they brought in a rule to protect them vulnerable with their heads down to snap the football, and it was Casey Sales who got to Burton-Cron.
Yeah, Casey Sales just wants to be reminded by the official on the ruling.
Now this benefits Edmonton, but Mark Killam looks upset.
Yeah, he does look upset, but looks like they're going to regroup and get back in the huddle. The more penalty yards in the second penalty, which is why, because it was only 3rd and 4, the Elks get the first down.
Frustrated looking Mark Killam there.
Maybe just that he got his center hit.
Right. Bottom line, though, still Edmonton ball with the Ticat 20. And then setting it up. Kind of a draw there to Greg Bell with Leak moving across as well. And interesting motion for the Edmonton offense to pick up that yardage.
Love the motion. Motion going this way, and then an underneath handoff this way. And just misdirection. And the purpose of this is to freeze the linebackers. Remember how quickly Braxton Hill was scraping to the ball? Well, that early movement, that gets him shuffling in the opposite direction.
Bottom line, 6 yards, 2nd and 4. Edmonton getting close. Halftime getting close. 3:12 and counting. Fajardo, little pump fake. A look to the end zone, no. The nearest receiver, close to being picked off by Hill, the nearest receiver was Rankin. And a bit of a mix-up there as it falls incomplete. 3rd down and 4. And the field goal unit, and Blanchard will come out and try it again.
Rankin's coming out of the backfield, and I think Fajardo wanted him on a hard corner. And when he comes out, he's still a little late to the line of scrimmage and late getting into that break. Hill had a much better crack at it.
Blanchard mindful of the wind. You see it move again left to right, but this time from just a short distance, about 21 yards away. Blanchard is good on that one to go 2 for 2, and Edmonton back in front by a single point.
Coming up at halftime, we celebrate the 7 newest members of the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. And look, I know it's all warm and cozy up in the booth right now with Smitty in suits. The wind is a factor. It's also freezing down here. So guys, if you need a weather update, right down here in the trenches, Smitty.
Hey, Kate, I used to be there. As you may recall, but yeah, I feel your pain. A little cooler down there. Way to go. And
I'm running right down to give Kate my jacket.
There you go. Yeah.
That's one down there.
And Kate, you know, it's just getting later. You keep coming out to these games, as we hope you will, obviously. And we got Grey Cup coming up in Winnipeg in November, and we're getting ready for cooler weather.
We'll have the parkas by then.
Halftime panel coming up. That wind is hard on kickers and panelists. That's Greg Bell. Got the catch. DeBlanco runs him out for a gain of 9 for the Ticats, now trailing again.
Well, 2 veteran quarterbacks going toe-to-toe here, and play callers that are mixing it up nicely, getting their backs involved, both Rankin, Bell, and we've seen some Javon Leak as well.
Yeah. And back to Bell. And a first down, just needed about a foot, so that'll move the sticks closer to midfield. 2.5 minutes. Interesting ball game right now. Some big plays, some good defensive plays as well. And as long as it stays this close, as Kate talked about the wind, you know, we joke about it, but what kind of a factor might it be if it comes down to a kick at the end of this game?
Well, and it's that time of year. I mean, I mentioned it off the top that it is getting cooler.
Yeah.
You could tell. I mean, not up here in the booth. It's toasty warm here, but
I wouldn't say toasty.
When we were walking up, it was clearly
it is
cold.
Definitely warmer than what Kate and the panel are dealing with. The screen to Bell. And a one-handed grab as he tries to regain his balance and get it closer to midfield on that second down play. Or first, excuse me. 2nd and 8 coming up.
He does a nice job of catching the football out of the backfield. Nice little one-hander there.
We've had some good one-handed grabs this season so far. Did Stanley Berryhill last night?
Oh, how good was that?
Yeah. And his teammate Robert Carter, can't forget that. Over the middle, caught Kenny Lawler. Known for his highlight reel grabs as well, speaking of which.
Yeah, almost like he heard us talking about big catches and went, don't forget me. And they'll move him around. I mean, you know, we usually see him in that wideout spot, but when he gets in on the slot back position, he's got the two-way go. He can run that dig or post and then go to the corner or a deep out route.
See the note on your screen now. He extends his streak with at least one catch in a game. 67 straight games now in his first one there. Oh, great job by Bell. Just finding his way through that hole. Some clever running to take him down around the 20 and a first down coming up here for Hamilton.
Great feet here. You know, it's the vision, the feet, and then just bobbing and weaving through there. DeBlanco's trying to track him down, finally gets to him, but not until he's got a new set of downs.
All the way down to the 20. 14 touches, 83 yards. Greg Bell. He's at it again for his 3rd straight game. So Mitchell with time and completes it to Bell. Back to work he goes at 5 more yards. And dangerous too in those short passes and getting him in space and letting his feet do the rest.
Subtle little pick on this play from Kenny Lawler, who the veteran in him. Watch out, just stop it here. Just to the left of your screen there, you saw Kenny Lawler with a little bit of a pick, enough to get his teammate outside in a one-on-one on Ross, the corner.
So 10 rushes for Bell, 5 catches as well for 21 yards. And back comes Hamilton, knocking on the door. 2nd and 5 at the Edmonton 15. A minute 12 till halftime. They're trailing by 1. Blitz coming. And it's a touchdown for Kenny Lawler. Mitchell saw the blitz coming, gets rid of it, and Lawler's all by his lonesome at the Edmonton goal line.
Lawler's coming from the right of your screen, and he's going to run like an out and then back to the post, knowing that Bo Levi Mitchell just needs that extra second. Nice block and pick up from the tailback, and there's Lawler flashing right in front on the blitz beater. What a great route by Kenny Lawler.
Caps off a 7-play, 70-yard drive by Hamilton. Back and forth they go. This entertaining Hall of Fame game first half, with Mark Leggio looking for the point after to make a 6-point Hamilton lead. 1:07 on the clock until halftime. We'll take a break with a minute to go and another look at Mitchell to Lawler. They connect yet again. Hamilton on top. Another Hall of Fame career honored last night and again tonight. Glenn Johnson, terrific referee, 24 seasons as a CFL official, head referee for the Grey Cup 5 times, also vice president of officiating for a couple of years as well. And he joins Matthew.
Yeah, it's 24 seasons as a referee, 416 games in the CFL, and I think 11 Grey Cups. But Glenn, congratulations on being inducted. I know everyone is always going to remember you for the 13th man. When you think about a day like this, do you link back to that night in Calgary, or is there another moment that comes to mind in all of the experience in all the years you were on the field?
Yeah, it's really funny. You know, it's kind of, I'm infamous for that, but, you know, that was never my best game. I think of other games that I was much better at. The 2005 Grey Cup, second overtime game ever, probably one of my best games I've ever had. That's the stuff I think about, and I think a lot more about the guys that I left with. Like, this was not about me. You know, it was a great experience last night. We got to welcome us into the Hall of Fame, but I welcomed every official in the country into the Hall of Fame.
And you see the T-shirts as well, your colleagues wearing, and in the back, I have to know where smoke, if you got them, comes from. But what did that make you feel when you came out today and everyone was wearing a T-shirt to honor you being inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it's things like that that makes us so special, right? Never would have guessed that, never would have thought of that. Those are the people that, I worked with, I mentored, I helped, and they helped me. So when I saw it kind of brings a little tear to your eye,
When you talk about mentoring, I know so much of the discussion in football in our country is getting young officials involved in the game. You have a special connection to that because you reffed alongside your father, Gord. On a day like this, how much do you think about that lineage and that legacy of keeping refereeing in the family?
Yeah, for me, it's everything. I think of the best stat of my entire career is that my dad and I reffed Grey Cups. That's it. Everything else didn't really matter to me. And yeah, there's a shortage of officials in this country. It's an epidemic. We need them to officiate more. We need more people to get out there and do it. But thought about my dad a lot last night, and I know he's looking down on me, and I'm really proud that I was his son.
Congratulations. Always a pleasure, Glenn.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matthew, and congratulations, Glenn, referencing his father, Pastor Ray, earlier this year, but in the family, and what a terrific career Glenn Johnson had. Well, honored last night.
Well, and an innovator too, like a guy that when he got back in the league office and was a supervisor.
That's Benjamin Victor on the carry, and Edmonton coming right back. 25 seconds to go. They got it inside the 30.
Trying to, figure out ways to improve upon not just officiating, but how the game is played, the rules of the game. Was always great to communicate with us at TSN. Never we needed great refs in this game's history. And I echo the message that Glenn sent out, which is get involved. If you played college football and you're not going to play as a player at the pro level, you can get involved in officiating, stay in the game. It's a great brotherhood, and our officials do an outstanding job.
Absolutely. Here's Fajardo throwing again, and going up for that one is Julian Grant for a first down. 8 seconds to go. They might be thinking for a shot at the end zone before perhaps having to settle for a field goal, but they're getting close.
416 games.
Think about that.
11 cups. I think he was a head ref for 5.
Yeah.
And then the infamous.
Yeah.
If you're a Saskatchewan Rough Rider fan watching tonight, you might turn away for a second as we remember the 09 Too Many Men.
The 13th man that gave Montreal another chance for what turned out to be the winning field goal for Brian Chu, who's into the Hall of Fame. Another field goal for Blanchard. And not a lead change, but should be pointed out that there have been only 2 punts in this first half. Each team has punted only once. And even Edmonton's punt ended up with
Edmonton
a point.
had no end on their left side. We'll go back 5 yards. We'll replay first down.
So as Ben Major said, because of no end, that successful field goal by Blanchard is negated. He'll have to try it again.
That might be what Mark Killam has been talking to the officials about. When you're looking at the special teams, that's Mark Killam's background.
He did that for many years with Calgary.
Absolutely.
Didn't he? And we've seen him the most animated on special teams play. So last play, first half, they'll try it again. 5 yards further back from the 29 for Blanchard, who's 2 for 2. And watch it move in the wind again. That started to his right, and it moved to the left. And it's not a lead change, but another score. 20-17, 3-point game. There are the Hall of Famers inducted last night officially, and to be honored at the half. Coming up on an interesting first half in this Hall of Fame game in Hamilton.
Welcome back to Hamilton Stadium, enshrined last night, honored here at halftime. It is the 2025 Canadian Football Hall of Fame class as we are set to introduce the 7 newest members to you. First up, it is Jermaine Copeland. His career spanned 11 seasons and 168 games with Montreal, Calgary, and Toronto. To this day, he is one of 18 players in league history to reach the 10,000-yard plateau while adding 622 receptions and 75 touchdowns. He hoisted the Grey Cup in 2002 with the Alouettes and again in 2008 with the Stampeders.
And we can talk about Jermaine Copeland, his numbers, as you mentioned, Kate, over 10,000 yards, over 600 receptions, 75 touchdowns. When you think about Jermaine Copeland, you think about touchdown celebrations. If you want to see some special touchdown celebrations, you look up Jermaine Copeland and Nick Lewis and what those guys were doing in Calgary. Also, Jermaine is also part of only one of 4 receivers to get 1,000 yards in the same season. Jermaine Copeland was a special player, but also has some special touchdown celebrations.
Milt, you know what? You had some really special touchdown celebrations in your day. I'm going to give it to Jermaine Copeland all day in this one. All right, next up, it is Frank McChrystal. Beginning in 1984, Frank McChrystal served as the head coach of the Regina Rams as the team competed in the Canadian Junior Football League, winning the Canadian Bowl on 7 different occasions. He continued with the program when it transitioned to collegiate play at the University of Regina in 1999, and his retirement at the conclusion of the 2014 season. For his commitment and dedication to guiding young players, he was presented with the Gord Curry Award as the CFL Coach of the Year in 1993 and 1998.
You know, Kate, I was living in Regina in 1994 and 1995 when Frank McChrystal and the Regina Rams football program were ruling Canadian junior football. And I was in awe when I saw that program up close, just the professionalism that they had at that level, the dedication, the off-season program. They were so good that they were too good for junior football, and ultimately they became the University of Regina Rams. Frank moving on with them, and that program, of course, exists today. He's put so many players across professional football.
Well, a lot of us know this man. Brian Chew was drafted by Montreal in the 1996 draft and went on to play his entire 13-year career with the Alouettes. In 2002, he was named the most outstanding offensive lineman. He was also named to 9 all-division teams and 7 all-CFL teams. The Vancouver native played in 7 Grey Cup championships, winning in 2002 and 2009.
Man, oh man, what a run he had, Brian Chew had. He had great teammates. He protected for a great quarterback, and he was just surrounded with some great players, but he himself was the anchor of a great offensive lineman, and the impact that he had for that team. We didn't call his name too much, but you can see how much impact he had with his teammates, as well as the team that he coaches right now as a coach for university players, and he's doing a great job at that as well right now.
Scott Flagel played 163 games over a 10-year career with his hometown Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Calgary, Hamilton, and Ottawa. He recorded 60 defensive takeaways, 40 interceptions, 20 fumble recoveries to sit 12th all-time and added 7 blocked kicks. Flagel was named to 6 all-division teams and 3 all-CFL teams and was recognized as the league's most outstanding Canadian back in 1987. He won the Grey Cup in 1984 with the Blue Bombers.
You know, one of the things about football is players can sometimes come to the game late and still achieve greatness. Scott Flagel hadn't played that much football when he went to junior college in Arizona, came back and, of course, started in the Canadian Football League. 40 interceptions in his career. When you think of Scott Flagel's career, you think of that guy who can change a game with one play. That was Scott Flagel.
Well, in 8 seasons with Calgary, Darryl Hall played 143 games, tallying at least 50 tackles per year, en route to 546 in total, as well as 23 sacks, 36 tackles for a loss, and 16 interceptions. He made 3 all-division teams and 2 all-CFL teams. He played for the Grey Cup on 4 different occasions, winning twice in 1992 and 1998. He also famously revolutionized that linebacker position. He could drop back in coverage as easily as he could run to stop the blitz, right? Get into that QB, Milt.
Yeah, Darryl, he returned from the NFL in 1996, and it was my second year. And you're talking about a guy who could play halfback but look like a linebacker, and I found out the hard way. He was long, he was rangy, and if you caught the ball in front of him, he made you pay for it. So Darryl was a special player. He had arms like no other, but he was also a great person. He would hit you and help you up afterwards. That was the worst thing about him. So congratulations to Darryl. He's a great player, great player.
A phenomenal football player and a tremendous man. Glenn Johnson spent 24 years as a CFL on-field official, working 460 16 games and 11 Grey Cups. He was named the head referee of the championship contest in 2005, 2007, 2009, and 2012. In 2013, following a distinguished on-field career, he moved to the league office as vice president of officiating. 3 years later, the Winnipeg native was elevated to senior vice president of football to help oversee the product on the field. His career spanned almost 3 decades in service to the game.
Glenn Johnson grew up the son of a CFL official. In fact, his father, Gord, retired just 4 years before his own officiating career began. And, of course, one of the things that he helped do was really usher in the era of instant replay and review. A big hand in that development.
And last but not least, Javon Ololafoya had a brilliant 9-year career with BC and Montreal, playing a full 18 games on 8 different times. He totaled 156 games and earned 7 nods to the All-Division team and 6 to the All-CFL team. He was a 3-time finalist for Most Outstanding Offensive Lineman, and he captured the award in 2012, ultimately raising the Grey Cup in 2011 as a member of the Lions.
Man, what an anchor he was for his team. And coming into the league, playing against this guy, he was one of the few guys that made me rethink football. But this guy was a man amongst boys, and he was protecting his quarterback. Travis Lulay, Buck Pierce, those guys in BC did an amazing job. And this is my last play with him now. I'm going to say what a nickname that his legendary coach Dan DeRosa used to call him, Sugar Bear.
Sugar Bear.
Yes, I get to make the last play on you, Big O. So here you go.
What an incredible class we have here in 2025. Obviously enshrined last night, celebrated here at halftime. And my goodness, they have been celebrating all day. It's wonderful seeing them, their bus coming out, all their families, their friends here in attendance. And meanwhile, we've got ourselves a tremendous football game. We'll get you to second half action between the Tiger Cats and the Elks after this. Once again, congratulations to the 7 newest enshrined members into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. But meanwhile, here at Hamilton Stadium, not only did we have that show, we've got a great show on turf as well, because this game is fantastic. Just 3 points right now. And I like how the quarterbacks are going back and forth. We got Cody matching Bo. But right off the hop, in this pregame, I looked at you, Enoch, and I said, what are you watching for? And you said, I'm looking for Justin Rankin. Well, Justin Rankin has delivered for you, Enoch Mwamba. He's got 88 all-purpose yards, the one huge touchdown as well, too. And look, he's been doing this all season long, but just watching him do it both on the ground and in the air, it's a thing of beauty.
It's a thing of beauty, Kate, and it's the way that he does it, too. The 72-yard touchdown off of a screen. I mean, it wasn't a deep ball. He caught the ball and ran all the way down and was able to get to the end zone. So he has the speed and acceleration to go the distance anytime he touches it. I still think he needs to touch the ball a little bit more. This team needs him to be involved. 4 rushes in the first half and 1 reception, but he needs to touch the ball a little bit more if they want to have success for the rest of the game.
Yeah, this is a really well-played game. We've got 2 quarterbacks both near 200 yards at halftime. And, you know, I'm going to talk about Edmonton's defense for a little bit. I think one of the keys for them in this game was limiting explosive plays in the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And for a quarter and a half, they did a pretty good job. I mean, halfway through the second quarter, Tim White didn't have a catch. Kenny Lawler didn't have a catch. And they were controlling Greg Bell. Then you saw White get involved. Kenny Lawler gets the touchdown. Greg Bell gets a gash run before the half. I want to see if the Ticats can sort of carry that momentum, getting those players involved for some of those bigger plays into the second half.
Before the game, I said I didn't think Cody needed to get in the shootout with Bo Levi Mitchell. You know what he said to me? He said, shut up, Milt. I got this. I can handle this. Yes, I'm an efficient quarterback, but I can also make some plays. I can throw the ball down the field like Bo. I can match up with him, and that's exactly what he's doing. Yes, Bo is having an explosive game. He has some big receivers, making some big plays, but also Cody, you got to give a lot of credit to this guy. The way he's turned around his team, the way he's turned around his franchise so far. So this has been a great first half by both of these guys. They're making some plays, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the second half. Also, both of these running backs, sorry about that. Greg Bill also, you got to give him some credit. You gave Rankin some credit, but Greg Bill is also having a great half.
No, I'm just saying, I just think when you think of what the Edmonton Elks were for the first 6 games of the season, and I know they played a very tough game against Hamilton before, but here they are on the road, you know, going toe-to-toe, playing right even with them.
But I agree, too. This is where you got to give Cody credit for this one, too. And the turnaround of this season, too. And even some of the games that maybe he's been off a little bit, too, and you've been relying on Rankin. I mean, he's been great. He's poised. He has the experience. We know what he's done in this league in the past, and he's certainly lifted this team. And by the way, Milt, when Kenny Lawler scored that touchdown, and you looked at me and you said, oh, I was going to pick Kenny.
I was, Kate. I was. Yes, I was,
picking
Kate.
my picks. You took Tim White. I think I'm still fine here, but you can't say after that, I was going
available. You know, he took Pin White.
Why y'all teaming up on me?
I didn't say anything, man. I'm just here.
I think I'm the only one up who scored a touchdown in the regular season CFL game, huh? You know, no, you did.
Look it up. My rookie year. I would lie on national TV.
It was in preseason.
No, regular season. And I flipped in the end zone. I'm going to show you the film.
You flipped?
Yeah.
You Gizmo Williams did.
Come on. No, not like that. Barrel roll.
You know what? We need to get back to Rod and Glenn. There's a lot of lying going down here on the panel. Second half action. Here's the guys calling it.
Kate, my take, two things on that. I want to see the viz on Enoch's touchdown and celebration.
I believe him.
And I want to hear Cody Fajardo say, "Shut up, Bill." And Kate, you talk about the back and forth. Well, since Hamilton took the first lead in this game on their opening possession, there have been 6 lead changes. I mean, think about that already at the half. The stats definitely indicate the kind of entertaining close game it's been.
Yeah, look at the passing yards that the guys talked about down there at halftime. You got 175 for the Ticats and Bo, and Cody at 182. And in the first half, talk about completion percentage. Off the top of the game, I said, I'm not sure that Cody can improve upon 77%. Well, he did in the first half. He's at 78%. And Bo Levi Mitchell is completing 83% of his passes in the first half, both on pace for 300. So we'll see if the defenses can make some adjustments and make it a little trickier for these quarterbacks.
Each of these quarterbacks only have 3 incompletions, and each team has only punted once in the second half. Has begun off the foot of Vincent Blanchard, and it's the Ticats with that 3-point lead. Isaiah Wooden has the ball. DK Bonham, good special teams tackle, wraps him up, takes him down right at the 20. Now those numbers for Bo, 15 of 18, 175, and 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah, that's 83% in the completion percentage department. And his tailback in Greg Bell has been involved in the passing game, but also is running the ball well at 10 carries for 5.8 yards per carry. And they did get Kenny Lawler, as Dave Naylor mentioned. They got him activated in that second quarter.
So here we go. The second half is underway. Hamilton football starting at their 20, handing off to Greg Bell. And a guy who's had a very busy last few weeks gets a nice busy start and a good pickup as well. About 10 yards for the Hamilton running back.
Big block downs from that right side of the offensive line. All you have to do is block down so that Greg Bell can get the corner. So let's see. Nice block on the outside. Giovanni Robinson getting involved as almost a tight end, and he's his big one. 6'5", 240 pounds. Getting a nice down block.
Gain of 10 for Greg Bell, 11 carries, 68 yards in this game. Play action fake to him. Mitchell barely gets rid of it, and it is intercepted. J.J. Ross in coverage of Kenny Lawler. There was heat coming in on Mitchell, who just got rid of the football, and a little bit underneath as Ross got in front and has a very critical turnover at this stage for the Edmonton Elks.
Yeah, Rod, when I looked at this and I thought that Bo was trying to throw a back shoulder fade here to Kenny Lawler, but it was broken up because J.J. Ross turned his head and found the football early in the process. You could throw the back shoulder when the DB's not looking. But as soon as he gets his head around, if that ball hasn't been delivered yet, it can be intercepted, and the back shoulder, the DB's in better position.
So here we go. Edmonton ball, and that's Justin Rankin. Up across midfield. By the way, the second interception for J.J. Ross in his first year out of Western Illinois.
So Bo Levi Mitchell records a 1 in that touchdown interception column. So he's got that first interception, the first error of the game, although let's give credit to J.J. Ross playing one of the best receivers in the league in tight man-to-man coverage.
And the strength of the Ticats this year, turnover ratio, +9 to lead the CFL, but behind in this game now after that pick by Ross. And here's Rankin again, muscling his way down for a first down right around the Hamilton 50.
And we saw a little Javon Leak in that first half as well. different style of back almost. Leak with great top-end speed, although that screenplay, I'd like to see a race between the two. I'm not sure.
Rankin can be a blazing runner. We've seen that a couple of times. 1st and 10. Taking to him, Darkel Smith. In space, first down, Destin Talbert. Getting a little help from Julian Hauser to push him out of bounds inside the Ticat 40. So, you talk about the turnovers and the points off turnovers. Hamilton's so good at that. Edmonton getting a little bit closer.
Now watch the play action and how it influences the linebackers. Stop it there. So Hill is in the gap. I mean, he's ready to stop Rankin. Hauser's frozen. He's like, I'm not going to rush the passer, and I'm not going to allow Rankin to get outside in this gap. And Cody Fajardo just gets it out there to his receiver.
Off to Darkel Smith. And back to Rankin. Finds his way through the hole. A little bit of power, too, for Rankin. And a good pickup again on first down. Getting quite a treat with these number 5 running backs for each team as Rankin gets it inside the Hamilton 30, but the 29 now in a second and short.
And nice play calling. You know, when you take a look at that play action, which had the linebackers and Braxton Hill up in the line of scrimmage, had Hauser frozen on the outside. Then the very next play, go right back to the run. Keep that defensive line guessing.
2nd and 3. Back to the run they go. Flag is out. Philip Osai wraps up Rankin, and he's put down in what would be another first down, or awfully close for Edmonton. But as said, there's a flag.
Offside, Hamilton, number 90. It's a 5-yard penalty. Makes it a first down for Hamilton. First down for Edmonton.
It's Mario Kendricks getting the flag. It is a first down right at the 23 now of the Ticats. Jordan Maximic, his first year as the offensive coordinator in Edmonton.
Well, I really like the play calling, getting that Rankin screen on second and a bunch. Remember, they had just given up a sack. Had a long way to go on second down, and Rankin took it to the house.
Once again, using Leak and Rankin, a little deception. It goes in the hands of Leak, and the Ticats aren't fighting. And that ends up being a loss of 3-4 yards.
That's another big play by Osai on the defensive line. He's going to step up. They ran this play in the first half with a misdirection. And it's the second time in a row now that Osai has stepped up and shed his block to make a tackle.
Call it a loss of a couple in a 2nd and 12. At the Hamilton 25. 3-point difference. Ticats in front. Elks are threatening. Blitz coming. Fajardo steps up out of the pocket. Looks to take off. Tucks it in. And breaks a tackle and finally gets knocked down inside the 15 down to about the 12. And that looks like it could be another first down. And yes, it is. Good run by Cody Fajardo, who's had a couple of big runs, as I can recall, in this field.
Well, he was almost caught short because it looked like a tackler for Hamilton had him when he cut back across the grain here. He's going across the grain. He's 4 yards short there, but that extra effort in breaking the tackle of Verisuk is the key. The extra effort and getting that extra 2 yards.
I remember running the Grey Cup in a 2nd of 18. He got it down to a 3rd and 5 in that famous drive to win it. A fake and a throw, and sliding down is Julian Grant, but it's in behind him. Reggie Stubblefield was close by, so it's a 2nd down coming up.
See, with Fajardo, when you're in the 70% category all season long, and then in the first half you up it to 78%, you hate missing one. You see his reaction? That was a quick slant on first down, and he turned around and just was disgusted that he missed one throw.
Can't see his grade go below 75%. Into the end zone, touchdown! Very reminiscent of a Grey Cup winning touchdown to Tyson Philpott. Curly Gittins at about the same point on the field from Cody Fajardo, and that one has put Edmonton into the lead again.
Well, you know he's got some great memories playing here. injured last year, so didn't make it when they were here last year. But you go back 2 years, this was about the same place on the field to Philpott for the win. Curly Gittins, it's like a reenactment. And I think he got his arms and hands underneath that.
Well, you know they're taking a look at it to see if he trapped it. But that is a touchdown. Replay center taking a look. 9 plays, 61 yards. Back and forth. They go again. Edmonton with the lead. And the point after by Blanchard. Hey, Fajardo's first trip back to Hamilton since that memorable one to Philpott. Gets the touchdown toss there. Edmonton leads. This is what we were talking about. The Grey Cup 2 years ago. Fajardo to Tyson Philpott with just seconds to go. And that gave the Alouettes the victory over Winnipeg. And Fajardo was the Grey Cup MVP. His first trip back to this stadium suits since then, and he had a very similar touchdown pass.
Well, it was like the drive was being reenacted, because just before that pass to Philpott, he had a run to keep the drive alive, just like he did on that drive. Now the stakes were different.
A little bit.
November a couple of years ago, but reenacting the winning touchdown drive of the Cup.
Well, stakes are pretty high for the Edmonton Elks right now. They need a win. They know that.
Yeah, they do.
You know, the way things are going in the West, and that's Wooden on the return. And time to get on the hotline and talk about that. Cody Fajardo, 9th start with the Edmonton Elks, and looking for another win. They're in the lead again. Get ready for NFL Sunday night action. The Kansas City Chiefs up against the New York Giants. You can catch that tomorrow, 8:20 Eastern, 5:20 Pacific on TSN and CTV. Wrapping up another week in the CFL tonight. We have a dandy here in Hamilton after the Fajardo touchdown pass to Curly Gittins, 24-20. 7 lead changes now. And counting, with going back to Bo Levi Mitchell. His last possession, throwing an interception. First real blemish in his record for a while, and they start at their 29. Swinging it out. That's Tim White. And he backtracks, picks up some blockers, picks up another from Shamar Bridges. Tim White making something out of this as he gets it up to the Hamilton 45. When it looked like he was done after maybe a couple of yards, he ends up with 16.
Tim White's often playing right beside Kenny Lawler, so it's pick your poison here, and White's just going to swing out. Lawler gets the first initial block, Keandre Smith, and then he decides to reverse his field.
And gets it up to the 45 now of Hamilton. Back to Greg Bell. And he's had a productive night on the ground again for the 3rd straight game. Came into that carry with 68 yards and gets it up near midfield.
Scott Milenovich, very similar play calling. We're seeing that from Jordan Maksimic, and he's calling plays for Edmonton, and Milenovich on the sideline, mixing things up, keeping the Edmonton defense off balance.
Bell is over 100 yards combined, receiving and rushing, and it's Jake Dolegala, their 3rd string quarterback, who's in, handles the short yardage duties, and lunges across and picks up another Hamilton first down.
You know, the sense of urgency for Hamilton as well. I mean, they're looking at Montreal in the rearview mirror right now. I'd love to continue on and have that Eastern final home field advantage.
It's been momentum swings for the Ticats. They lost their first 2. They won their next 6. Then they lost 3 in a row. And now they've won 2 straight, trying for another 3-game winning streak. From the Edmonton 54 and a 1st and 10. Mitchell has time. And off to the left for Andy Litre, with Kobe Williams coming in on him. Now, Milenovich suits been saying, just like Bo Levi Mitchell, they want to win this on merit. They don't want to back into the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, want to take the division, get that bye to the final. But Montreal is not done discussing this. You know, they're still in the conversation here after the big win in Toronto last night.
And the Alouettes had really been slumping up until their last couple of games. They're kind of getting it going again now, too, after a long losing streak. Mitchell over the middle and open. DeAndre Smith finds a spot. Gets it down inside the Edmonton 35. First down, Tiger Cats.
DeAndre Smith is the fourth receiver on the quad formation to the wide field, and Bo's going to look off to the three receivers on the outside and then come right back over the middle. Skinny Buffalo hat, if I heard correctly, is the audible.
What is Skinny Buffalo hat? Well, on that play, it's Greg Bell. Down inside the 30.
Sometimes they're decoy calls as well.
Yeah.
You know, you'll at times you don't want the defense to start hearing an audible and then say, okay, now I know that's a running play, and start jamming up the hole. So you got to do the decoy calls occasionally. Try to throw them off balance, go to play action, and put one over the top.
I used to wonder how often Peyton Manning did that. Remember how he would do all that audibling every single play?
We need to get Jermaine back up here because he played with Peyton.
That's right. He played with Peyton in Tennessee. Jermaine Copeland, Hall of Famer. Down just approaching the 30 in a 2nd and 7. And Bo is knocked hard by Jalen Williams, who timed that hit perfectly. Just as the ball arrived, and it was coming pretty fast, Williams was coming even faster.
Real quick release from Bo Levi Mitchell here. He gets it out of his hands quickly, so that break by Jalen Williams, that's a big boy break right there. Coming downhill and separating the receiver and the ball. That's playing with a ton of confidence as a rookie in his first game.
The debut for Jalen Williams. Tim White will remember that one for a while. 3rd and 7, field goal Legio. And he stays perfect. And another possession that results in points. Just about every possession for either team has, as the Elks still lead it. Kate Burness has many fans, but none greater than some of the mascots in the CFL, including Stripes. Well, I don't know, made a move on Kate, I think, when the previous game.
They had something going on, and then punter in Edmonton.
What's going on here?
No, I don't know. This is the thing.
And how would Stripes feel about that?
I'm not sure he's happy.
If she's. So, yeah, Stripes had proposed to her.
Yes.
And Kate turned him down, and now, oh, yeah, Stripes is done with Burness.
I don't know. Still a quarter to go. Still a quarter. And would someone please give Kate a coat?
Knocked at the line by Julian Hauser, and a flag comes out. Hauser's not as tall as Willie Jefferson, but he's pretty good at getting the hands up. Seen him disrupt before. Loving being back in Hamilton, where he started his CFL career.
Offside, Edmonton, number 87. Penalty will be declined. It's going to be 2nd down.
Well, he led his team coming in quarterback sacks, and he's having a night. Hauser off the edge. You know, and sometimes it's not about full speed all the time. He's playing the run there and then steps out in the throwing lane with excellent timing to get his hands on that.
Got his 7th sack of the night. He also has a fumble recovery for a touchdown and a pick this season. Fajardo to the right. That is caught. That's Hilaire. Hilaire. Just in his 4th game with the Elks, and he gets it across midfield and a first down, Edmonton.
Combination route coming off this trips formation where they're just going to switch at the line of scrimmage, and then it's Hilaire that just sits down at the 50. So it's tough if you're playing a zone or a man and switching in that situation as a defensive back. Which guy do you got? They're weaving back and forth as they hit the line.
First year at a Bowling Green. And it's Javon Leake with another carry. And the middle linebacker, the rookie, Devin Varasek, coming in and limiting that carry to just a couple of yards.
Well, these middle linebackers, both teams, frustrated when their running backs are getting up around 100 yards. And we're not even into the fourth quarter yet. So you scrape in, you take on the block. That's Carter O'Donnell. Shed that one. And then step up.
Rankin is back in the Edmonton backfield. It's a 2nd and 8 for Cody Fajardo. The Elks hanging on to a 1-point lead. With time, deep shot to the right, one-on-one. Keon Julian Grant with Deshaun Amos. Incomplete. And a 3rd down and 8 is coming up for Edmonton.
You know, this is Cody Fajardo on this go route. His location of the football is why one of the reasons that his completion percentage is so high. Because even on that deep ball, he knew Deshaun Amos was inside in pretty good coverage and pretty good position. So he goes to the outside shoulder and says to his receiver, by his actions, either you get it or nobody gets it.
And the result is Jake Julian is on to punt for just the 2nd time in this game. In the first half, he had one that ended up with a rouge. And this one coming down for Isaiah Wooden. Takes a nice hop. And out of bounds, no chance for Wooden there. And just inside the 15-yard line. We'll be back after 3 with another Hall of Famer coming up. A football coaching legend in Saskatchewan, Frank McChrystal with the Regina Rams. Lots of junior championships before taking the team into the university ranks as well, into the Hall of Fame. And back to Matthew.
33 years in Regina in the CJFL and then U Sports, 7 Canadian Bowls, trip to the Vanier Cup in 2000. To invest so much time with Regina football, coach, what does football in that city mean to you, and that city mean to you?
Well, I mean, Regina football's a big deal. I mean, Ron Lancaster and George Reed and Ed McQuarters and Ron Atchison, guys from the 60s that a lot of people watching this program won't know. But it's just been an important part of the community and a part of the fabric of the community. You know, it's built in Regina through high school and minor football now as much as ever, and certainly into junior football, university football, and the CFL.
We talk about Canadian junior football, and I just said this to you before we came on air. Every time that I get to speak to someone who's been inducted in the builder category, who spent so much of their career in the CJFL, I want to know what that league has meant to them. You won 7 Canadian Bowls. What has the CJFL meant to your career, but also your life?
Well, the CJFL is really the fabric of the entire country. You know, it's not just guys that are playing that are going to university, or guys that are you know, maybe not doing very much of anything, but what they are, they're plumbers and they're electricians and they're guys that are working at techie things, you know. It's really a broad sense of the community as a whole that allows these young people to have that experience and to grow during, you know, pretty formative years between 18 and 21, 22 years old.
Really appreciate this. Congratulations, Ed.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations to Frank McChrystal going into the Hall of Fame. Saw Bo Levi Mitchell air it out close to an interception for Jalen Williams, and instead the ball did hit the turf. It's a 2nd and 10 now, scrimmaging at the 14. Mitchell running out of time, and a flag comes out. Could this be a hold against the Ticats?
Guessing this is holding against Hamilton, and it'll be declined by Edmonton. They'll push Hamilton to 3rd down.
Holding Hamilton, number 53. The penalty is declined. It's going to be 3rd down.
But you know, when you're talking about winning, and I don't care what level you're in, whether it's junior football, you know, even beer league hockey, it's hard to win. It is very difficult to win a championship, and I don't care if there's 8 teams or 80. But Frank McChrystal to do it, 7 Canadian Bowls. I mean, Frank McChrystal in Saskatchewan is football. I mean, Brian Towers in Saskatoon, Regina was always Frank McChrystal. And to take that program from a junior program that was so successful and so dominant while he was their coach, and then move it into youth sports.
And get them to a national championship game.
Absolutely.
Which I think you and I were involved in that broadcast in 2000. They lost to the University of Ottawa, but it was close.
Yeah, I mean, just a level of success, you know, for Frank McChrystal. So well-deserved, and congratulations.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Frank. One of the 7 newest inductees in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame here at Hamilton, right in this building. And right now, late third quarter, we got a game, 1-point difference. Edmonton leads with the ball. Keon Julian Grant tackled there by the nickel linebacker Reggie Stubblefield after that pickup of about 5 yards.
Yeah, Stubblefield's become more and more active as the game, as you know, he finally got off the injured list, and as the season has progressed, 4 tackles for losses coming in. Big game versus Edmonton when they faced the Elks in Edmonton. The quarterback sack in that game.
That game came right down to the wire with Hamilton winning it.
Yep.
Caught by Rankin and tackled there by Braxton Hill. One of the newer members of the Ticats defense getting a start in the linebacking core.
That's about a yard. Short yardage for Edmonton this year has been quite successful at 14 of 17, although when you're a yard away, head coaches go gray if they don't win 100% of those battles.
Yeah. So it's Cole Snyder, the short yardage quarterback, coming on. First time we've seen him tonight in this situation. Third down, and a lot less than a yard for Snyder to keep it and push and get the first down. So he'll head off, and Fajardo will head back on. But we have three-quarter time, and we have one more Hall of Famer to talk to as well. Great Calgary Stampeder linebacker Daryl Hall coming up. We'll chat with him too. Heading to the final 15. It's a 1-point Edmonton lead. You think of how good the Calgary Stampeders were in the 1990s, and that man there, Daryl Hall, a big part of that. Part of the class of 2025, Grey Cup champion in 1992, and then coming back to the league in 98. Pleased to be joined by you now. It's the obligatory question, but it must mean so much after you put into the game of football what this weekend has meant to you.
Most definitely. This weekend has been amazing, and it's really an honor to not have been forgotten and to have been appreciated. So it's awesome.
Well, Daryl, appreciated. I don't know how many times I've mentioned on a broadcast that you invented that hybrid linebacker position, the tweener we used to call it, the cover linebacker. How does it feel to be the guy that kind of started that whole trend?
It feels awesome to have started that trend. You know, I definitely attribute Wally Buono's eye and being able to utilize my talent in places that was necessary to maximize getting all the players on the field that we needed to win. So definitely a blessing to have been that guy, and it's an awesome honor this weekend.
I think about the quarterbacks, and we have some clips of you wearing both number 4 and number 7. So you were number 7 originally and gave it up for who?
So originally I was number 7. When I went to the NFL, Jeff Garcia came along and took that number. So when I came back from the NFL, number 4 was the right one for me, because number 40 was always what I wore in American football.
Oh, okay. Well, I have to ask you about one of your teammates who is now one of our teammates. And Dwayne Ford talks so highly of you and such great respect. Tell me a little bit about Dwayne Ford as a teammate.
As a teammate, Dwayne Ford was awesome. One of the hardest workers, true professional, knew how to mix work and having fun. And then off the field, one of my favorite memories is him with his girlfriend at the time babysitting my kids. So, you know, just all around great guy. Love Dwayne and miss him. Definitely miss him this weekend.
He's been a big part of this weekend too in the past. Dwayne Ford. Well, after the 2 and out, the punt by Julian and the return after a 54-yard punt and just a few yards brought up there by Isaiah Woods. When you look back, Daryl, at those years in the 90s and the championships you were part of, I mean, what comes to you, what in your mind about being greatest highlight, if you can pick one?
I do have a greatest highlight, but overall, I just want to say, gosh, it was a blessing to have had the teammates I had. My teammates, like, I can't think of one I didn't like. We were so tight-knit, loved each other on the field, loved each other off the field. But if in terms of a highlight, I did have a highlight. I was covering Ray Elgard, and I think we had to win the game in order to go to the playoffs. I'm covering him. He puts his hands up. I don't even look back. I just put my hands on top of his, expecting the ball to fall in my hands. It did. I bobbled it, caught it, turned around, started returning it, and I was caught. But it preserved the touchdown and the victory, so it was nice.
Caught close to the end zone?
No. Probably midfield.
Played with some great quarterbacks, too. I mean, you mentioned Jeff Garcia.
Doug Flutie, Danny Barrett.
Yeah, and even in the NFL as well.
Oh yeah, with Steve Young as well as John Elway.
Yeah. I just of those guys, you know, tell me a little bit about their leadership, what you learned from them.
You know, their leadership wasn't necessarily, with me being a defensive guy, a lot of talk, a lot of rah-rah, but it was definitely a lot of getting the job done day in and day out and knowing I was going to be able to compete against them every day. So that was a lot of fun.
I was going to say, yeah, to go in ones against ones in practice against Elway and Steve Young and Doug Flutie and Jeff Garcia. That's quite a group.
Yep, and I would also love to get a shout out to Alondra Johnson, because I still say he's one of the best linebackers I ever played with in both leagues.
Another one, a part of those great 90s Calgary Stampeders team, that awesome defense. 2nd down and 4. Mitchell throwing. Saw Tim White making a big play before. Here's another one there and a 1st down. They're across midfield again, trailing by a point just over 12 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter.
Daryl, I asked Jermaine this, but I'm always curious when you come up from the States, your first impressions of Canadian football when you arrive, and then now after being inducted into the Hall of Fame, just what it's meant to you.
So my first impression, I think when I got into my locker as a defensive back, I think I had number 98. So my first impression was I won't be here long. So once things got going a little bit, the quarterback, I think his last name was Mucky at the time. He had a change of heart, so I was able to get that number 7, and that kind of coincided with me learning the game and advancing and progressing to where I could actually play the Canadian game. And, you know, it was early on in my experience with Canadian football that I respected the game, respected the players playing, knew the talent level was high, and going to be a challenge not only just to make the team, but to be successful in the league. So I still tell people the story about my first game where I think I got beat felt like I got beat for 5 touchdowns, but it was probably 3. But that jump started me to just doing things a little bit better and taking everything more serious.
That was a carry by Greg Bell, and linebacker Brock Mogensen getting his chance with the Elks coming in and making the tackle as Mogensen is down and getting some attention.
Congratulations, Daryl.
Thank you so much.
Well deserved, man.
Thank you.
What a great career.
Invented a position in Canadian football.
Yeah, absolutely. Hall of Famer Daryl Hall, inducted last night, honored again today in the Hall of Fame game. We'll be back in a moment. We are in the home stretch now. Brock Mogensen, the linebacker, injured in the previous play, has gone into the tent in the Edmonton sideline. It is a 2nd down and long already with so many injuries, especially on defense for Edmonton. For Mark Killam, 13 players on the 6th game, including, well, players that are injured right now, Niles Morgan and Nick Anderson, too, their star linebacker. So they lose another one now, and a 2nd and long. Mitchell checks it down to Keandre Smith, 35. And he gets it down to about the 32. Had to get to the 28 to get a 1st down. We got a 3rd down coming up here for Hamilton.
going in this direction, the wind has been messing with the kickers a little bit. And this is a longer range field goal. You know, it doesn't, when you look at the flags, it doesn't look that imposing, but it actually is quite strong. As Kate mentioned, they're sitting down, but Matthew Shinetti down on the sideline just communicated with us that it is really swirling down there. So this isn't an easy kick.
You see the way the flags are going, start to their right. And Leggio, well, no problem at all. No movement on that. And another field goal for the return, or kicker, Mark Leggio, staying perfect. Another look at the class of 2025 in Hall of Fame night here in Hamilton. Golf fans love this. The Ryder Cup around the corner. Catch Team Europe take on Team America September 27th and 28th on TSN. Europeans, the reigning champions. They won a couple of years ago in Italy. This is at Bethpage Black in New York. Fabled course. The Americans try to get the Ryder Cup back. You can watch it on TSN. We're down the stretch now in week 16. Fourth quarter, we've now had 8 lead changes. 26-24 Hamilton, Edmonton football. Justin Rankin, and not going anywhere there. Braxton Hill in on the tackle again for the Ticats.
One of those games where the team that has the ball last may be the winner. That's another play by Osai and Hill in combination. Philip Osai is making a name for himself in this game. He's stepping up. One of his plays was called back because of an offside penalty, but I think that's his 3rd tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Second and long for Jarda. Out of the shotgun in an empty backfield, off to the left. And no, too far for the intended receiver, Benjamin Victor, but a flag is out. Ray Wilborn in on the coverage along with Jamal Peters there for the Ticats. The flag coming out on the other side of the field.
Illegal contact on a receiver. Hamilton, number 8. This is a 10-yard penalty. Makes it a first down for Edmonton.
And that was away from the play, the other side of the field for Deshaun Amos.
Amos didn't like that call.
So with the penalty, Edmonton gets it up to their 51, approaching midfield. 8.5 minutes to go. Elks really needing a victory. Whistle blows with the snap of the football.
We got a legal procedure against Edmonton, number 57. We'll go back 5 yards. It's still going to be first down.
It's the center, David Beard, who started with Edmonton and then moved to Hamilton for a few seasons before going back to the Elks. So 5 further back. And a 1st and 15 coming up from their 46.
Try to get that penalty yardage back.
It's Miles Fox taking a knee.
Let's go back to that penalty against Hamilton that kept the drive alive. Amos is right down here in your screen. And go ahead and run it, guys. I'll show you the contact he makes. That initial contact there is okay, but it continues well past the 5 yards. So wasn't a lot, but it was the illegal contact. When you're jamming receiver past the 5 yard mark. He didn't like the call. Went back and found it. I'm at times critical on the pass interference and how that pendulum has swung, but
that's caught by Gittins, who had a touchdown earlier this half, and gets some of the yardage back up around midfield.
You know, at times I've felt like over the last month or so that we're going to put a 5 yard halo around receivers, and if a DB gets within that 5-yard halo, that's automatically a penalty. I'm half joking about that, but you know.
What position did you play?
Yeah.
No, I hear you.
Exactly, but you know, when it is, and that kept the drive alive.
Well, I'm sure it is frustrating for the guys assigned to cover the receivers, no question. Fajardo. Oh, Keon Julian Grant with a nice catch, reaching out as he was going down right at the Hamilton 40, and a first down for the Elks.
Yeah, and I think the wind and this fastball from Cody Fajardo pushed the ball outside a little bit. He has to make a really tough catch. No challenge on the catch.
He had 5 catches.
His hands underneath there.
I was going to say, he had 5 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown against Toronto last week. Shirley Gittins. The touchdown tonight and inside the 25 now. Here come the Edmonton Elks. They're down 2 points. They're threatening. There's still 6.5 minutes to go. And trying to improve their record to 6-8.
That play on first down, all about recognition for Cody Fajardo. Immediate recognition from a veteran quarterback.
Montreal Alouettes are kind of hoping Cody Fajardo does them a favor tonight. Faking off to the left. Arkell Smith, my goodness. Helmet to helmet, Jamal Peters. It was bobbled. He is livid. But that was fierce contact with him coming in with his helmet on Arkell Smith. And the flag came out immediately.
Saw a monster hit. Saw a monster hit in the game before us. Ottawa and Winnipeg. That rivals it. No penalty in the one earlier today. But this one, I think Peters' head gets involved, and that's the problem.
The result of the play was an incomplete pass. However, we have major foul, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 2. We're going to go up 15 yards. It's going to be an automatic first down for Edmonton.
Zadarius Pickett in that game earlier today, but he got the shoulder in and hit the target a little bit lower, got the head out of the hit. But for Jamal Peters, that hit was just too high, helmet to helmet, made contact. I get it in the heat of the moment. He doesn't have the angles that we see.
It didn't help Arkell Smith that he was bobbling the ball and trying to focus on net and not with Peters coming. But still, the penalty. And here we go. First and goal at the 10. It is caught. It is Arkell Smith. Right after taking that hit, he takes that pass, and Reggie Stubblefield puts him down, and Arkell Smith seems to be just fine.
Yeah, that's the important part. I mean, we still love the physicality. Don't get us wrong, but we always want both players to be able to get up, bounce back. And nice to see Arkell Smith bounce back from that huge hit from Jamal Peters, make the catch, and a second down situation here with 5 to go.
Second and goal. Elks looking for another lead change. Mentioned they've already been 8. Fajardo, 4-man rush. He steps up. Open receiver, touchdown Edmonton. Or no. Hilaire, wide open, had it in.
Incomplete pass.
It's an incomplete pass. Fajardo had Hilaire open in the end zone and right to him, but could not hang on.
Stavros Katsatonis, I believe, separates the ball as he goes down. He's got a... There's the hit. Now that's in slow motion. It comes out. But I think when you see it in regular motion, and you see how quick it is, Edmonton fans are probably saying, I think he had it long enough across the plane. It'll be reviewed, but Katsatonis made the hit to separate the ball.
So a couple of significant hits from the secondary of the Ticats. One led to a penalty. The other canceled a touchdown, and they settled for 3 instead. And it still is the 9th lead change of the game. Fajardo thought he had himself another touchdown pass to Odu Hilaire. And instead, finding out a few moments later, no, incomplete pass. It's Hall of Fame weekend, and we also want to extend congratulations to Paul Friesen and Judy Owen, both with Winnipeg and reporting on the Blue Bombers, especially with the CFL for many, many years. They'll be officially inducted Grey Cup week in Winnipeg, but Paul with the Winnipeg Sun starting there in 1997, and Judy's connection to the CFL came in 91, assistant city editor of the Winnipeg Sun, and coordinated coverage for Winnipeg's first time hosting the Grey Cup, and quite a career later for both Paul and Judy. Congratulations to you both.
Yeah, congratulations. I saw a great article that Paul wrote about Paul. Saying
might have been a tough column to write.
Well, yeah,
write about yourself.
He said that, at the end of it, and saying that, you know, the one thing he learned was that you can't cheerlead.
No.
And ask the tough questions.
Hamilton ball. Hamilton trailing again by a point in the hands of Tim White. And a productive night and a first down again for the Ticats.
Those media people, that's the bridge. The bridge from the game to the fans. And yeah, you got to ask the tough questions, but you got to be fair, and they always have been. Congratulations to Paul and Judy.
Spoken from a Hall of Famer himself, Glenn Suter. And our producer, John Hines.
Yes. In the truck tonight.
27-26. First and 10. Mitchell. Over the middle. No. Incomplete. And pointing and wanting a call.
Well, still two timeouts and a challenge for Scott Milanovic. Is he getting... I mean, it's a first down. He's got 2nd and 10. But it was a bit of a reaction from Bo Levi Mitchell, although he kind of let it go quickly.
It's getting late here in Hamilton, and the challenge flag comes out.
Hamilton is challenging the last play. They believe there was pass interference against their receiver number 12. The play will be reviewed.
That came on a first down play near midfield. And this was it.
There's the route. Tim White, lose him momentarily. I think the reaction there was that he went down, and that's why. Let's just see the tail end of this play, the top of the route when Tim White. Why did he go down?
Is it possible that the leg or the foot of Jackson got tied up with him? I don't know.
That would be accidental. I'm not sure there's enough there.
Challenge Milanovic. Replay center has a result.
Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. Hamilton loses their challenge and the first team timeout. It's 2nd down.
So 3:46 on the clock in the 4th quarter. And Milanovic and the Ticats lose that challenge and a timeout. 2nd and 10 coming up. Just a 1-point difference, as mentioned. 9 lead changes. Most of them in the first half, and they were just back and forth. Underneath, complete. Bell spins. That's a few more yards. Good effort by Bell to get closer to a first down. And that extra effort by Bell to set up a 3rd and short.
Well, I would say it's close enough that you're going on 3rd down here. Scott Milanovic, I don't think, even hesitated. It's a long yard, almost 2.
Here we go. 3rd down, 3:08 and ticking on the clock.
Maybe trying to draw him offside, too.
Seen that before.
Because there's still enough time to kick this away.
Well, they're going to run the play. Third down. Mitchell running out of time. Dumps it off. It's dropped. Brendan O'Leary Orange can't hang on. And with that, another turnover committed by Hamilton. A turnover on downs as Edmonton will take over. Best team in turnover ratio is now a -2 after that. Elks football with a 1-point lead. Well, the Labor Day game is, of course, about the Elks and Ticats and 7 more people. Brian Chu, Javon Olafioye, Scott Flagel, and Jermaine Copeland, and Daryl Hall. Hall of Famers. Frank McChrystal and Glenn Johnson, long-time official, and they are enshrined now right here in Hamilton in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Congratulations to all 7 for their remarkable careers. We still have a football game to be decided. A 1-point game. Edmonton taking over on downs. Set up at their 50 for Cody Fajardo. 2.5 minutes on the clock. Off to Justin Rankin, who had the biggest play of the night with a 72-yard touchdown run after catching a screen pass back in the first half.
Interesting decision by Scott Milanovic to go for it on 3rd and 2 there.
With that time left.
At midfield with 3 minutes left. Now, if you get it, you're inside of 3 minutes. You have control of the football, a new set of downs. You know, I understand the decision, but you punt that away. Cody Fajardo doesn't have the field position he has now.
2nd and 6. Fajardo's 20 of 28 for 276. Throwing again. It is caught. Julian Grant trying to escape the grasp of Deshaun Amos, but he can't. So it's a 3rd down coming up.
So Mark Killam has a very similar decision. Now, he's taking a look at it.
It's a good yard, a little more.
2:05 left. He's got the 1-point lead, not down by 1, but again, that field position game, we saw it last night unfold in a very interesting way when Ryan Dinwiddie was going for it on 3rd down with 2 minutes and over 2 minutes to go, and then not going for it on 3rd down with 1:30 to go. They're going to kick it away.
Killam elects to punt. It's Jake Julian back in the CFL after a tryout in the NFL, and he was the top punter in the Canadian Football League in his previous go-around. Positioning everything here with 2 returners back for the Ticats. Wooden takes it just inside the 10, and the coverage is good. First in, Jacob Plamondon, and also Joel DeBlanco in there as well. The games just keep meaning more, don't they? Week 17 coming up. Friday night doubleheader. Stampeders coming off the loss to BC, taking on the Alouettes, and then the Argos against the Lions. That's part 2 of the doubleheader. Everybody's still in it right now. Tiger Cats, Blue Bombers, and that'll be on the Saturday. Winnipeg winning in Ottawa today, and the Riders and the Elks. That's the first team Cody Fajardo faced as an Edmonton Elk back in week 8. In a close finish, but a loss for Edmonton at Mosaic. That'll be at Commonwealth next week, week 17. Here are the Ticats. 1:34. They still have time. Soft toss intended for Keandre Smith. DeBlanco's right with him. Incomplete.
I almost wonder if Bo Levi Mitchell could have just picked up 7, 8, maybe 10 on that run. But the decisions made by the coaches is, now you're looking at the field position. They don't convert here on 2nd and long. And Edmonton's in a real good position to extend it to 4 at the very least.
It's 1.5 minutes to go. 2nd down and 10. Underneath. And that goes to Bell. DeBlanco's on him again and not even close. So it's a 3rd down and long. And what's Milanovic do now. 1:24 on the clock. 3rd and 4. Keeping the offense on the field after making that decision to go for it the last time around. But yeah, just not enough time left to be punting it away now. As you talked about, so Ryan did when he make that decision last night.
At 1:34.
Well, here we had 1:24. 3rd down and 4. It's caught. And it's a first down. DeAndre Smith up to the Hamilton 25.
Still got to be efficient here. It is lots of time, but Mitchell will be calling it at the line of scrimmage. DeAndre Smith just got in that soft spot.
They are going against the wind. You think about that. Come down to a field goal try. Mitchell. O'Leary Orange. He had the drop before as they were looking for the first down. He has that catch. Had a touchdown earlier in the night and another 9 yards for the Ticats.
Mentioned how accurate these two quarterbacks were in the first half, and Bo Levi Mitchell was over 80%. This wind, I think, is picked up in the second half even more, and it's in the face of the Hamilton Tiger Cats right now, and the accuracy for Mitchell has been a bit of a struggle in this fourth quarter.
Tyreek Johnson, the injured member of the Edmonton Elks, down on the field. There's Mark Leggio.
And going into the wind, what's his range?
Well, that's the question. He has not attempted a kick of 50 yards or more this season. Been deadly accurate, coming in 34 of 38, almost 95%. He's been perfect on the night as Johnson heads off. But the challenge for Leggio is going against that wind. It's always a topic here, it seems, Matthew.
Yeah, and my internal weather vane is telling me it is gusting. Now, when you look at the flags, they might drop guys, but every so often there is that gust that we know comes right off the escarpment here and just blows right through. Obviously, Leggio had that kick in the first quarter and pushed it right through, but he's going to have to get close if he's going to want to cut through this wind.
Well, Matthew, his longest of the season, 43 yards. Very efficient kicker, but who knows if he's going to be tested coming up here in the final seconds from further away. There's a deep ball. Mitchell not close. An Elk defender goes down. Tim White, the intended target. That was Cordell Jackson in coverage. They had a down to play with. It's a 3rd and short, about less than a yard away.
Yeah, 19 wasn't missing those throws in the first half. Not like that. That's wind aided.
Not only for the kickers, can mess up the QBs as well. They need that yard, and they do get it with Bell. He just keeps those legs chugging. Gets a little bit more as they push up closer to the 40. 45 seconds.
The problem is for the Hamilton offense, at 45 seconds, it's almost like they can't go intermediate to short passing game much longer. They're going to need a chunk play here against the wind.
We saw what happened with Mitchell's throw just on the previous play. Throwing again underneath, intended for O'Leary Orange, but in behind him and low. 2nd down. 34 seconds on the clock now. Edmonton trying to hang on and improve to 6-8.
Bo Levi Mitchell feels like he got hit in the head on that last throw. Tries the check down, and he's saying he got hit helmet to helmet
by Jordan Williams.
Yeah,
new to the Elks, coming over from the Toronto Argonauts. Mitchell wanting a call there and does not get one.
And everything is kind of slowed down in a hurry here, well, because that is something where the replay center is going to take a look at it, because it involves player safety, the quarterback with the protection of the pocket and a hit to the head. And that looks like the definition of
he definitely it's helmet-to-helmet contact. Yep. Williams and Mitchell.
Yep, we got rough in the passer. Edmonton, number 90. We'll go up 15 yards. It's going to be automatic first down.
Wow,
for Hamilton.
15 big yards at this stage of the game. Barely a half a minute to go. Up near midfield now are the Ticats. And what yard line would they have to get to be in the comfort zone for Mark Leggio against this wind?
I'm guessing the The holder has to be around the 35.
High one for Shamar Bridges. Good time for his first catch of the night as Bridges gets it inside the 50.
They've got maybe 3 plays, maybe 4. Could stretch it to 4. You mentioned Legio's longest this year.
Hamilton called the timeout. Timeout Hamilton.
Well, it's interesting, Suits. Vincent Blanchard of the Elks, who's 4 for 4, as is Legio, had his longest of 42 yards going that way. But as we heard from Matthew, I don't think the wind is the same now as it was back in the first quarter when Blanchard hit his.
No, it feels stronger even up here. So, you know, and swirling. By the way, I love the look. I mean, Matthew Shinetti and the professor down there. I mean, he's got that professor look going on nicely.
Awesome. Looking sharp as always.
You know what, guys? These glasses have really changed people's perspective on me. If they're thinking I'm a professor, wow, that's a compliment. Thank you, Suits.
It is.
Nice job down there with the Hall of Famers, Matthew.
Appreciate you guys.
We'll see you.
What a night. This is always always one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
We'll see if Bo can convert here and get his kicker in field goal range.
Edmonton 48. Cats needing to get a little bit closer against this wind. 25 seconds. Complete. Tyler Ternowski also getting his first catch of this game. Down to the 41. They're certainly in range of giving Legio a shot. If they can just work it a little closer, and is that the challenge flag now coming out from Mark Killam. And all the Elks can wonder about in their frustration is, are we seeing a repeat of last week when they had the lead in the final seconds and the Argos got close enough to win it in a walk-off?
See what the challenge is here from Mark Killam. By the way, what a great block by Keandre Smith to allow Bo Levi Mitchell to even get that throw.
Edmonton is challenging the last play. They believe there should have been offensive pass interference against Hamilton, number 89. The play will be reviewed.
There's crossing routes that happen right at where the ball arrives, saying it's offensive pass interference. Lawler is on the crosser here. I don't know if that'll. I get why he threw the challenge. I get why Killam did it, because it looks like it's a little bit of a pick, but from Lawler's body language there, he's trying to just get past the defender, get to the open area. I saw an earlier one in this game where Lawler was very subtly trying to do that. Let's see what the replay center says here. This will be interesting because it looked like he was just trying to avoid contact and get through the.
But at this stage of the game,
get through the
nothing to lose for Mark Killam.
Nope.
See if he can get a call. Replay center with their decision.
Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. Edmonton loses their challenge and their timeout. It's going to be first down for Hamilton.
First down at the Edmonton 41.
Need another 10 yards.
Right now we'd be looking at about a 48 against this breeze. Underneath again, a little closer. 15 seconds on the clock. And they work it down to the 34.
Yeah, and I would say one more play, and not just one to get it in the middle. I think you if you're Scott Milinovic, you want to get another 7-8 yards here.
33, so about a 40-yard kick.
Well, they are going to just run.
They run the football. Greg Bell going nowhere.
Well, it still puts a lot of pressure on Mark Legio. I mean, this is not a chip shot into this swirling wind. It's a 48-yarder. I thought on that last play that Bo would try and throw it. I mean, there's always a downside to throw it. But actually 41 yards is going to be the distance here.
Well, Cody Fajardo and the Elks have seen this frustration recently, and this eastern swing in Toronto was mentioned. Liram Hiralau did it to him in the final play. Could it be back-to-back walk-off losses? Last play, Leggio attempting his longest field goal of the season against the wind from 41. Out, down, kicked, and good. On the 10th and final lead change, the lead belongs to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who win in a walk-off and break the hearts of the Elks yet again.
Take a look at the hold. Bang on. Great slant. Laces away. Leggio nails it. And it felt like there was a little pause in the wind.
You know, I said, my mistake, I said attempt his longest attempt. His longest field goal is 43, so that would be second to that. It just must have felt longer with the breeze coming into his face.
No question. That was no chip shot. And for the second game in a row, Edmonton loses on the walk-off field goal.
And Cody Fajardo had another good game. 21 of 29, 280 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks, but no win to show for it. As he falls to 4-5 as a starter in Edmonton.
Well, you never put it on one player, but that penalty, Jordan Williams, roughing the passer,
made a huge difference as it allowed the Ticats with one penalty to move a whole lot closer. So the Ticats, they improved their record to 9-5 and reestablish a 4-point lead on Montreal.
What a night.
Yeah.
Congratulations to all of the Hall of Famers. Walk-off field goal, guys on the field delivered. Congratulations to the Hall of Famers.
Absolutely, all 7 of them. It's just not a great feeling for the Edmonton Elks right now, as they're in an even bigger hole with BC and Winnipeg winning. Very daunting for them. And next week, Friday Night Football, Stampeders, Alouettes, Argonauts, and Lions. We'll have that for you as we're heading on, getting late in the season. No playoff spots decided just yet. Getting much, much closer. Hamilton wins again on Hall of Fame night. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great night.